afternoon last weekend against Notre Dame for Zay. Weather a little bit different here tonight.
So Boston College won the toss, deferred and kicked away to the Orange, short of the 20. On the return, LeQuint Allen to get us rolling. Eagles and Orange. Boston College is 3-8, Syracuse 6-5. As we play in prime time on the final Saturday of the regular season, the starting quarterback for the Orange, it is Garrett Shrader, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina. He'll lead him out on this first series, Bates.
Yeah, and he's a gotta-have-it guy. When you gotta have it and he's healthy, he's going to get it for you. Fun to watch. And with that FSU game a couple weeks ago, it was a little direct snap right here to start it off.
Sean Tucker with the football for the Orange. Sophomore running back. So time for our Toyota Impact players with the Orange on offense, James.
Yeah, Sean Tucker back to his winning ways. He's split out right here as a receiver, and Marcus Valdez. And you can't say enough about this guy. 2 injured elbows and an injured foot, continues to play through.
Shrader throws it down the middle of the field, and it's knocked away. Incomplete, right at the BC logo midfield. Cooper was the intended receiver for the Orange.
Fantastic job to time this one up by Williams. Plenty of protection. Good time for Shrader. He's going to move around in the pocket. Great job, Williams. Not too early. He's there to rip it away. Right down the middle of the field and forcing on this opening drive. A big 3rd down and long. Let's see what Tim Lukabu draws up for him here.
37% on 3rd down for the season for the Orange. 10th in the conference. It's knocked away and covered. Big play on 3rd down by the BC defense, and it's Bryce Steele. Deflection and cover.
Bryce Steele and company answer that question in a hurry. Lukabu draws up the blitz. They get to Shrader, not only the sack, but the strip as well. And the Eagles are in business. Shutting them down, forcing the fumble. No hangover after the 44-0 drubbing in the weather at Notre Dame. They know this is their bowl game here today. They know, like Wiley said, they're playing for seniors like Zay Flowers. And young guys out there like Emmett Moorhead are going to try to get it done.
That pass nearly intercepted. Jihad Carter had an open alley to the end zone if he could have hung on to that one after the pass from Emmett Moorhead.
Oh, wow. In that close game at Clemson, 2 turnovers, a scoop and score after an interception for Carter in the 2nd quarter. And he took that one to the house. It doesn't get any easier than that. And that's from watching film. That's tendencies. That's just good coaching by Tony White and his staff, the defensive coordinator for Cuse.
Moorhead, the redshirt freshman quarterback, hands it off. Garwo up the middle, trying to move that pile. They've got him marked at about the 11.
Yeah, that got to be careful diving on that pile or diving over the pile, as was the case right there for Jude Bowery. Looked like Free Willy.
3rd and 4 for BC. It's a quick toss to the end zone. And the reach from Jalen Gill not long enough. As Moorhead threw it to that back corner. 4th down. Chestnut in coverage in the end zone for the Orange.
Yeah, blitz was coming. Chestnut's right there. And Moorhead had to get rid of it in a hurry. He knew the blitz was coming and gave Gill a little bit of a chance, just a little too strong. But after that turnover, the Eagles will try to at least get 3 right here with Litton.
So Litton, who is 8 of 14 on the season, 28 yards away for Boston College, and the Eagles are on the board. They convert the fumble recovery into 3 points as Litton hits from 28 yards away. Boston College leads Syracuse 3-0.
No matter what
and they settle for 3 and take the lead against the visiting Orange, and their head coach in his 7th year, Dino Babers, on that sideline.
certainly take the 3 points, but the ball down that close would have been nice to come away from there with 7, because this Orange offense gets clicking. You're not going to be able to settle for field goals here tonight.
Liam Connor kicks it away. Allen from the goal line. Allen to the 30. And he goes out of bounds in the neighborhood of about the 34-35 line. Knocked out by Liam Connor. All right, now time for our Ford Keys to the Game with James Bates.
One if by land, the ground game for Dino Babers, the ground game for Robert Anai, Sean Tucker. He's one of the best backs in college football. He has got to get going. Went over 200 yards on the ground against this BC team last year. 4 if by D instead of 2 if by C. They'll get the 4 wins if they play some defense, and they can shut them down like they did right here, Tom.
This is 1 if by land, and strung out as Sean Tucker was trying to turn that corner, couldn't do so against the BC defense. Jalen Williams there for Boston College. I like your historical references, Bates.
Paul Revere.
Yeah, pretty famous gallop. 18th of April in 1875.
To Concord. How do you say this Concord there?
This is Concord, not Concord, North Carolina, but Concord, Massachusetts.
Concord?
You could say Concord too if you want to.
Okay.
4 receivers set for Shrader. Through the progression. Got it away near the 35. The pass is complete. They'll mark the ball up near the 38-yard line to Courtney Jackson.
They'll let him have that all day long. Nice job by Arnold and the rest of the BC defense. They're just taking those proper angles, breaking on the football. Let them just chip around all day underneath you. Now, right now, know where they're trying to get. Got to get up to that 45-yard line to move those chains. Where are they breaking those routes off at defensively? You got to know where you are on the field.
Shrader looks and throws, has an open man, and it's incomplete. It looked like the defender had fallen down, and DeMarcus Adams was open but couldn't get to it.
Well, first 3rd down of the game, they got to him in a big way. Forced the fumble. Shrader had to get rid of it early here because the pressure was coming. He takes the hit, but just launches it up there and didn't have enough time to put it on the spot. So after the turnover, it's a 3 and out for Shrader in the offense here on this 2nd drive.
Yeah, Shrader coming off a career day in the loss at Wake Forest last Saturday, throwing for 324 yards and a TD in the 4th quarter against the Demon Deacons. And before the punt from Von Marburg to Jalen Gill, there are whistles and a flag.
False start. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
Our referee is Timothy Hedgepeth.
We'll say it's on Marlowe Wax, a starting linebacker. BC had the block on. There with the whistle. Let's see if they bring the heat again.
Gill is deep at his own 24-yard line. Freshman punter Von Marburg. A lot of pressure, and it's blocked by Boston College. Bounces out of bounds near the 15. BC special teams.
Here's another look at it. Is it coming right up the gut? The play before with the whistle blown, it was coming off of the edge. This is going to be 17. Jeremiah to Franklin. Got 2 17s. I want to make sure we give it to the right guy. Wow, big special teams play.
They give it to the right guy on 1st down up the middle for a solid gain on 1st down. Garwo on the carry.
Well, Tom, it's either Jeremiah Franklin or Edwin Colinge. I think it was Jeremiah Franklin. Just right up the gut. You know, it's one thing to let a guy loop around, and you got to take the long route to get to the kicker, as we're now inside the red zone, brought to you by CPI Security. And nice field position to start both of these drives for Moorhead.
Down to about the 7 for Garwo. So the second opportunity deep in orange territory for Boston College. They created a fumble recovery in our first series on a 3rd down play, and now a block punt by the Eagles. Third and 2, they can get a first down right at the 5. Moorhead out on the edge to the end zone. Touchdown, Zay Flowers for the Eagles.
Tom, I asked Jeff Hafley in our meeting this week if we were going to see the team that went down and upset NC State or a team that's feeling sorry for itself after the Notre Dame loss, and he kind of laughed at me and talked about how special this week of practice had been. He certainly wasn't lying, and you know he's not lying when he talks up number 4. Zay Flowers continues to get it done. Here's a little whip route right into the paint. One more time for number 4 on senior night, no less. It's 10-0 BC. This team, and oh, by the way, last week it was well documented 15 guys on this team had the flu. Zay Flowers had the flu all week long. Jeff Hafley asked, what is he doing? Why is he even out there? He doesn't have to be out there, but he wants to be out there, and he sure looked healthy there on that touchdown to put BC up 10-0.
And that touchdown reception by Flowers sets the single-season Boston College record. He now has 11, breaking the record of Kelvin Martin. Kelvin Martin, also the receiver that Flowers has tied for career touchdown receptions, now with 28. Truly a record-setting season and night for Zay Flowers. Shrader trying to answer. Open man near the 40. And that is caught for first down yardage. Oronde Gadsden has the catch. Twisting grab from the sophomore, who's made many spectacular catches this season.
Yeah, he certainly has. Like Zay Flowers, he's from the 9-5-4. Ball can hit the ground. He had possession, had control. And you got to think that that's a bust in the BC secondary to leave number 19 wide open like that.
Little wrinkle from the orange, hole in the right side. Tucker shoved out near the 42-yard line. Jalen Williams forced him out. Big chunk play for the orange.
Yeah, a couple nice chunk plays here, and there's that triangle that Robert and I talks about. Leading the way is Oronde Gadsden over there. And Tucker getting outside, got some good blocking down the field. And these big chunk plays happen. They're blocking downfield for him.
Tucker again to the 37-yard line for the orange. Third in the conference per game rushing in front of Shrader for Tucker, number 34. Tucker's taken it over 1,000 yards for the season with that last big rush.
And a line change, hockey style here for BC on the sub.
Tucker's got it. He faked that little toss and went the other direction. In the neighborhood of the 25, maybe right at the 26 for Tucker. That is a first down for the orange on the run. Sean Tucker.
Yeah, taking advantage of some good blocking. Look at Robert Anai, the Kahuku Red Raider. Back in Hawaii in his high school days, where his dad was a longtime head coach of one of the best high school football programs in the United States before he played at BYU.
Syracuse won the meeting between the teams last year at the Dome. They toss it out to Allen, and he gets inside the 25-yard line. Last year was a 21-6 victory at the Dome for the Orange against the Eagles, who had won the 2 previous meetings. Those were both in Syracuse as well.
De Palma won't get credited with the tackle here, even though he leads the team, but he does a fantastic job of hustling up there and getting it turned back inside to the rest of those gold domes.
Shrader trying to elude the pressure. He got past the first wave, not the second. It dropped near the 30. Cam Arnold, number 5 for BC. Marcus Valdez was first on the scene as well.
Yeah, just what you'd expect from Marcus Valdez. Look at him go with that motor and cleaning it up. Is the junior Cam Arnold, guy who played cornerback in high school, started here as a safety. Doesn't look much like a cornerback to me anymore. 6 foot, 227-pounder out of West Bloomfield, Michigan. 3rd down and long after the Orange started to drive a little bit there in the heart of the field.
Lost 7 on the sack of Shrader. This is Tucker left side. Down near the 22-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down for Syracuse. Coach Babers sends the field goal unit out with Andre Schmidt, the senior. Tucker did take it over 1,000 yards for the season, but the drive stops, and now a 40-yard attempt for Andre Schmidt. 16 of 21 on the season. That is no good. So Boston College turns back the Orange and maintains the 10-0 lead here in Chestnut Hill. Offensively and special teams to set up this lead.
Yeah, giddy up. Came after it. Didn't get just 3 points. Didn't get the touchdown after the first turnover, but then the block punt. Edwin Kalenge blocks the punt. Few plays later, Zay Flowers doing what he does best. Scoring touchdown. Syracuse driving the football on the next possession, but Schmidt is wide left and will stay right there. 10-0. Now, I got it right that time, Tom. Edwin Kalenge. There were so many people up in Montreal that were saying, no way, eh? Hey, take off, eh? That was Edwin that blocked that. There were a couple 17s. We had some trouble, but we got it that time. Edwin Kalenge with the huge block punt to set up that touchdown. And now a little bit more space in between them and the goal line. There he is. Beauty, eh? Beauty punt block, eh? Get him a jelly donut coming.
Turned into a touchdown for Zay Flowers. By the way, that midnight ride, you know, by Revere was 17. In the 1700s, not the 1800s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was actually...
Just want to set the...
well, and it's from a poem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
1775. Now that we got that straight.
You were way off.
Garwo.
I mean, you see the way these big linemen are firing off the ball. There's a BC player down. That's Hutchins. And the way... Let's take care of our Toyota impact players on this side of the ball. Jack Conley, 9 different groupings of offensive linemen have started games for BC this year. Jack Conley is the only one that has played and started in all those games. He's the only one that stayed healthy. And Marlowe Wax. Marlowe Wax has got to be big with Mikael Jones out today. Wax moves over to the middle. He's got to make some plays.
Moorhead dumps it off. That's complete. Appears to be first down yardage for Boston College up past the 33-yard line.
Yeah, and speaking of guys that have been injured, Hafley kind enough to point out yesterday that Takis is out. George Takis, the usual starter. Jeremiah Franklin, his backup as well. So it will be Spencer Witter, who just had that catch there, and Hans Lillis. The 2 tight ends. Here's a flag before they get this snap off. Look, you see the big man? You see Jack Conley?
Offside with contact. Defense number 17. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Dino Babers, he knows that his guys, they're going to have to match this team punch for punch. The Orange, they're on their way to a bowl thanks to that 6-0 start. It's been a 5-game slide and a tough one since then. Played a lot better against Wake in the loss last time out. But BC, they're playing like it is their bowl game.
Deep ball, Moorhead, flag is out, caught. Flowers ran under it. A marker came out, and they marked him out just inside the 30. Chestnut was back there defensively for the Orange.
Holding. Defense number 0. The penalty is declined. The play results in a first down.
Well, the out and up and just hanging on for dear life Chestnut because he knows all too well that anytime 4 touches the ball, he can score. Beautifully thrown football by Emmett Moorhead. And a great catch by Zay Flowers.
They'll run it this time after the 33-yard pass play. Pat Garwo, 26-yard line for Garwo. You mentioned the struggles, James, against Notre Dame a week ago in absolutely horrible weather conditions, wind and rain and snow. Boston College as a team ran for 56 yards and did not score. Shut out by the Irish 44-0.
Yeah, Jeff Hafley kind of described it as the perfect storm for his football team. We're not trying to make excuses with all the flu. All 5 offensive linemen were on IVs the night before. They all had the flu. But this is a team that wants to throw the football. And in those blizzard conditions and worse, that wasn't happening.
Flowers puts on the brakes and then just cuts the losses and dives forward. Jason Simmons stopping Flowers.
You know, and on the flip side of that, Tom, Notre Dame is a team that's built to run the football, and boy did they ever. 44-0, and it was 37-0 in the first half. Wasn't much of a game last week, but this is the BC team that's got some energy here to start tonight. Let's see what they got on a 3rd down and long. Let's see if Tony White will bring 3.
Got to get it inside the 20, and that pass is incomplete. Looking for Flowers.
Aren't we all, though?
We got Flowers and Chestnut back there for the Orange.
It's very Christmassy, huh? You know, and look at this. I mean, you've got 4 guys surrounding Flowers. I mean, they know where they're going with the football. They're going to target him as much as possible. Here's a big field goal trap.
Linton 46 yards away. Grazed the upright. And no good after he had made one from 28 yards earlier in the quarter.
Good snap and good hold. So close. So back-to-back field goal misses. Cuse fans kind of like that up there in the visitor section.
So Orange football near the 29-yard line. Inside of 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Not the cleanest of handoffs to Tucker. Up to the 33-yard line. Quan Williams on the stop. Here's what the Orange have done so far. The miss was from 40 yards away from Andre Schmidt. Boston College turned the fumble and the block punt into the 10 points you see on the scoreboard. Tucker at the 40, steps out just beyond it. A flag came out. Tucker was on his way out of bounds, being chased by Jalen Williams, and a flag came out. Tail end of the play.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Alford.
Holding. Offense number 42. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Let's see. They said 42. I think it's on 82. I think it's on outside. It's on 82 right there, bottom of your screen on Williams. Williams trying to fight to stay outside, and Alford not letting go. Got those white gloves on. They stand out on those dark-colored jerseys. If you can help it, you got to try to wear those gloves that match the jersey so it blends in a little bit. Everybody could see that. Good job by Williams to fight to stay outside.
Shrader's got the time. Now the pocket collapses, and he's taken down around the ankles. The guy who made the block punt makes the sack there. Kalenge, James.
Yeah, just a freshman from Montreal. There he is up top, fighting on the top, refusing to give up, comes back underneath. And Kalenge is actually French for big playmaker.
So there was just no one to throw to for Shrader. He had time in the pocket. They brought him down. Wants to throw it again, and the pressure comes right up in his grill. Shrader goes down. There's Waraku first on the scene. The 4th sack of the game for BC.
Robert and I told us his primary goal was to fire off the football. Well, right now it's a defense that is firing off the football and coming straight at their quarterback time after time. When they need to get there, they certainly do. Ezuraku, that time, leads the team with 6 sacks, make that 7 now, 11.5 tackles for loss, and 3 forced fumbles.
Von Marburg, the punt. Gill's going to stay away from it as it bounces near midfield. It's a sideways bounce at the 42 or 3. They'll mark it at the 42 of the orange. So 4 sacks already by that BC defense. And the Eagles have the football back with a 10-0 lead. 1:34 to go in the first quarter.
Last year in this game, Syracuse had the sack attack. They had 5 sacks. Remember, big Kingsley Jonathan had 3 of those. But 4 already, and we're not even out of the first quarter for BC.
Handoff Garwell. He's up to about the 47 or 8. Elijah Clark on the stop of the orange. Headed towards the final minute of the quarter. Teams have not played here in Chestnut Hill since 2018. The last 3 games have been at the Dome. Garwell midfield, just shy of the marker. Syracuse went on the road and won that game back in 2018, 42-21. That was also the last game of the regular season between the teams. Now we're down to 40 seconds. First down, BC. Garwell to the 45-yard line. Chestnut in on the stop of the orange.
Yeah, but that's not what you want to hear when it's 3rd down and short. Right there at midfield, Chestnut in there means that Garwell and company have penetrated and moved that football. Defense and the special teams in the first quarter of this football game. As well, they're in the first quarter. 4 sacks. Temlukabu's defense bringing it in the first 15.
Up the middle. Garwell. He's running with purpose here in this first half for Boston College as we start the second quarter. So glad that you're with us for the final Saturday of the regular season in prime time from Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts Alumni Stadium. Tom Wormy, James Bates, Wiley Ballard on the sidelines, and our outstanding ACC college football production crew working so hard all season long to document ACC football. from just inside the 40 for the Eagles.
There we go. Orange rallying to the football there and bringing down Garwo. Garwo went to the same high school as Steve Slayton, great West Virginia Mountaineer and NFL player. There's the swarming defense that you expect from this Syracuse side of the ball. Anwar Sparrow, young guy, redshirt freshman, a big playmaker. They need him to make a few more of those. Need everybody getting those orange hats to the ball. Here's a third down and short and a big one.
10 carries and 40 yards for Garwo. That's the call again. Second effort. Inside the 35 and a first down. Jatius Greer on the stop for the Orange, and that'll move the chains. Wiley Ballard.
Yes, it will, Tom. And we had a injured offensive lineman, left guard Jackson Ness, has gone to the locker room for Boston College. So we're waiting to see an update on him. But in the meantime, he's getting some serviceable work from his backup in Otto Hess, who is right in there on that rushing play.
62. I love my mama very much. Now you know that.
That's after Coach Hafley told us that he had been able to keep the offensive line intact for the last few games. A luxury this season.
Yeah, finally started the same five back-to-back.
Moorhead. Passes caught. Alex Broom made the catch and went out of bounds.
Here's a young guy in Broom that's really stepped up. He's good with the hands coming out of the backfield. Look at his offensive coordinator, John McNulty. He's on the field at Notre Dame last couple seasons as the offensive coordinator there. But coach is high on Alex Broom, the freshman out of Nashville. Played for Trent Dilfer at Lipscomb Academy in high school.
93 total yards so far for the Eagles. This could be a negative play here. Back to the 31 as they stop Broom.
This is what you expect to see from Syracuse. It's an aggressive defensive unit. And Tony White is a heck of a defensive coordinator. And the guy swarming the football a little bit more. He's the El Paso native. Played at UCLA. Linebacker's got his guys in a third down and long spot. Let's see if we'll just bring three here.
3 of 5 on third down for Boston College. This is out in space for Gill. Boy, he is really close to the line to gain. It was the 24, and that is enough. That is a first down. There is a Syracuse player down. Gill made the catch for Boston College. They will check on Marlowe Wax down for the Orange, and we'll be right back.
To build the all-new Honda.
In this game, and what Emmett told me was he's learned how to make different types of throws in different conditions. It was this same route last week where, unlike tonight, it was windy and blizzardy. He had to make a much tighter and lower throw. Tonight puts a lot more air underneath it. And for Emmett Moorhead, that's really part of the progression as a college quarterback. He's found a way to really gain some confidence on the field. And he was pretty candid. Watching film this week, guys, he said, when we saw Syracuse a year ago, I look back on that and say, man, it was kind of embarrassing, but he's come such a long way in a short amount of time as he steps in for Phil Jurkovec.
Wiley, he's a bright kid, and to watch him interviewed, he certainly doesn't come across as a redshirt freshman, comes across as a 5th or 6th year senior, and that was his first action last year against Cuse coming off of the bench. Tom, you care to guess who his first completion was to back then last year?
Zay Flowers for 44 yards. Boston College tried some trickery. And Flowers, probably a good decision there to haul it back in.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to force it. Right now, you've got the momentum on your side. And that's a senior play right there. Zay Flowers, good coverage down the field. Good job by the Syracuse defense not to fall for the okie doke. 2nd down and 10. BC living to play another day. We'll do it here in the pistol look.
They'll run it with Garwo. To the 25. Not much there for Garwo. Anwar Sparrow, number 12 for the Orange.
Well, and that's huge because the redshirt freshman has been a playmaker, but he hasn't been as consistent as they would have liked. We saw Marlo Wax go down and go to the sidelines just moments ago, right before the break. Mikel Jones, we've already told you, he's out, injured at Wake Forest and won't play. So they'll need 12 and some other young guys. And here's a 3rd down. Let's see if they bring bodies this time. Only 3 again in the late one.
Pressure. Moorhead to his left, got it away. Flag is out. So Moorhead was able to release that football, but Syracuse was putting on some serious pressure and a penalty marker. And at least that's the initial indication that it could be against the Eagles.
Holding. Offense number 70. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
They'll move them back. Take a look at the left side of your screen. And yeah, no choice right there. Flying through there one more time. Kalunge.
So that puts the ball at the 35-yard line. The 1st down marker is all the way down inside the 15 of the Orange. 3rd and 21. Edges bend. Underneath. Flowers. Couldn't quite get to the 30. Sparrow forced him out.
Nice job by the Syracuse D to rally. Flowers so dangerous. You know, just when you think you've got him turned back inside, give you a little shake and able to get that edge. But good hustle play by the rest of the defense to get over there and knock a very dangerous player out of bounds and to force another field goal try. 1 for 2 for Litton here tonight.
47-yard attempt. Flag comes out prior to the attempt.
False start. Offense number 92. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Hafley's hot. He looks like he'll send the punting unit in there. And let's see if Syracuse causes them to jump. You know, just a shift, which you're allowed to do. Now, the barking, you know, the matching of the cadence you're not allowed to do. We couldn't hear that, obviously. But cost him a field goal try. But look at this.
Bounces around near the 5. So because of the penalty, Eagles have to punt it away, and they have pinned the Orange deep in their own territory. The Eagles have a 10-0 lead over the Syracuse Orange here in Chestnut Hill.
Works Nitro. Home security that protects what matters most.
Alumni Stadium and a 10-0 lead for the Eagles with 9:02 to go in the 2nd quarter. And they have pressured Shrader. And when they haven't, the secondary's done the job, and they've cashed in a sack in that way as well.
Yeah, they've gotten to him 4 times. Just relentless. That time, Cam Arnold. You've got Marcus Valdez back there getting in the mix as well. And forced 1 turnover there in the 1st quarter, but 4 first-quarter sacks. Living in the backfield. Look at the back of the head in that play sheet of Tim Lukabu, the defensive coordinator.
It's a season high for sacks in a game for the BC Eagles.
I'd like to get one right here with Shrader and the Orange at their backs to their own goal line, inside their own 5 after the punt.
Sam Candiotti pinned him down by the 5. Flags are out.
Start. Offense number 70. Penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. It's still 1st down.
Not a lot of room to work with back there, Bates.
No, especially now after the penalty, and that's not the way you want to start a drive. I don't care if it's in the middle of the field, in the opponent's red zone or right at your own goal line. Got to come out there with some juice and expect to play clean football. They're going to have to call a timeout. This is a mess. Oh, my goodness. So, Syracuse substituted. And BC has to have, they're allowed time to substitute. If Syracuse doesn't substitute, then it's on BC. That's why they'll just play this one over right here. First down and 12. Finally, here we go.
From his end zone. Over the middle and caught. Up near the 20-yard line. That'll be a first down for the Orange. Gadsden on the catch. 17 yards on the play. Second grab. Oronde Gadsden. He had that winning touchdown grab against Purdue at the Dome as the Orange were on their way to 6-0 to start the season. That was their best start since 1987. That was an undefeated season. They went all the way to the Sugar Bowl and tied Auburn that year. Back-to-back first downs, blasting past the 30-yard line for Syracuse. Devon Cooper on the catch. DePalma the tackle.
There's Cooper, the senior, a transfer from UTEP from LA, and that'll work. You know, you think all eyes are on 34 when you're down there near your own goal line. Let Sean Tucker help get you out of there. Gosh, Boston College. A bit on different pages with the substitutions. I'll wait for them, and here we go now.
Shrader up near midfield and a leaping grab. Gadsden again. Beat Williams in that secondary of the Eagles.
It's just so easy, that big target. When you've got time, when they finally give you a little bit of protection, and just Williams just trying to climb that ladder and defend, but it's hard against a 6'5" receiver when you've got a ball that's so perfectly thrown like that. Nice ball by Shrader. They're moving things now.
17-yard pass play to the air again. Up by the boundary to Allen. He went out of bounds. BC side of the 50 around the 48-yard line. DePalma on the stop. Bryce Steele also there.
LaQuint Allen, a freshman from Millville, New Jersey. The Gatorade Player of the Year a couple years ago in New Jersey. Had a 41-yard touchdown run. And the loss to the Demon Deacons last time out. And some Wildcat in that weight game as well. 6:30 left in this first half. Syracuse would love to get on the board here on this drive all the way down the field.
Shrader still has it. He'll slide down. When the slide was initiated, he was near the 45-yard line. Valdez making sure Shrader goes no further after that slide attempt.
Valdez, 2 bad elbows, a bad foot. Just a hustle machine. Look at Dino Babers, and there's a big third down call for Robert Anai, his offensive coordinator.
0 for 3 on third down so far in the game here in this first half. Just under 6 minutes to go. Shrader looking right. Tucks it. Dives. There's a penalty marker out. DePalma on the stop. On the third down play. There's a marker all the way across the field.
Offside. Defense number 13. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's against Chris Banks, and that's a first down for the Orange.
Let's see if we see it. He didn't jump, so he must have just lined up offsides. And a nice job by DePalma, all for naught though with the penalty, to read what they're trying to do. A design quarterback run right there for Shrader. DePalma sniffed it out, and it was going to be a 4th down. Instead, it's a fresh set of downs for the Orange.
Tucker pursued and dropped. 3 and 4. Gold helmets led by Burton. It's a loss of 1 for Tucker. Prior to that, he was 9 carries for 53 yards.
You see on the ground, 36 for the Orange, and there was, for a while there, Garrett Shrader. There was quite a few design quarterback runs. Still not sure how healthy he is, if anybody's 100% this time of the year.
Shrader trying to create on the run, gets shoved out of bounds inside the BC 40 as Raku forced him out.
As Raku finally got to him to force him out, but it was Valdez that flushed him out of there. Just knocked over that heat lamp over there on the sidelines. You know, Marcus Valdez is being looked at by the training staff.
So we'll step aside for just a moment. They check on Valdez. The Eagles have the 10-0 lead. The Orange has the football.
It's bow time. Put a bow on.
Larry Zonka, the former Miami Dolphin, just like Rondé Gadsden's dad, used to play for those Dolphins a few years later, of course.
Shrader still has it. Makes a move near the 30. That should be a first down. Yes, the chains are moving on the run by Shrader. Woodby had the stop, not before a first down for the Orange. Five first downs on this drive alone for Syracuse. Coming alive late in the first half offensively. Shrader with the time, just lofts it out to Tucker. Sidesteps a man up to the 25 or so as he made that move inside the 30. Maitre on the tackle, Boston College.
Maitre's on the stop, but Sean Tucker, you know, not just when he's taking the ball in a handoff, but out there in space, he's tough. That's why it's so important for these guys to rally. Good to see Big 97 back out there after he had to leave the field, was injured just moments ago. Shrader fakes that pitch to Tucker, but you know, back to that pass play, Tucker got about 4 yards on it. But a guy like that, it's scary. It could have been so much more, but when you've got so many guys rallying and taking those proper angles, those vice angles, doesn't have much room out there. So here's a 3rd down and 5 now, under 2:45 left to play here in the first half.
Tucker, who ran for over 1,700 yards last season to set the school record with 14 rushing TDs. 2.5 minutes to go in the quarter.
Charge timeout. Syracuse, they're first at the half.
So the Orange takes the timeout. Critical 3rd down upcoming. And trailing 10-0.
And again, like that. And Jordan Travis, what an amazing quarterback he has become. The transfer from Louisville led the charge.
Losses today for Clemson and Georgia Tech, playing SEC opponents. Tigers' loss ended a 40-game home winning streak as they lost by a point, 31-30 to South Carolina.
Wow. About the last couple of weeks, South Carolina beating up on the Tennessee Volunteers, and then a close one with Clemson today. Duke beat Wake Forest. Man, how about Mike Elko? Got to be a Coach of the Year candidate on a lot of levels.
8th win of the season for them. 1 for 4 on 3rd down for the Orange.
Charge timeout. Boston College.
So BC's going to take this timeout with 2.5 to go in the quarter.
This is important. They want to make sure they come away. They want a touchdown right here because It'll be BC that will take the kickoff to start the second half. So Jason Beck, Robert Anai, Garrett Shrader, and the Orange, they got to get after it here.
Let's get a message from Works Nitro.
Let's.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
Robert Anai, 6 years as the offensive coordinator at Virginia. Under Bronco Mendenhall before going to the Dome to be on the staff for Dino Babers in his first year for Robert Anai. See what he does here on third down with 2.5 minutes to go in our quarter.
I don't think it's 4-down territory, but my goodness, there's another jump.
False start. Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. It's still third down.
Yeah, I don't think that's why you called 2 timeouts, so you could jump. Kalen Ellis, who's been banged up a little bit there, the left guard spot, will back him up. And you know, with the Schmidt miss already here in the first half, you got to think this is 4-down territory. But in a close football game, who knows if they get up there close, maybe they'll come out and try to kick it. Here we go.
Shrader into the end zone. Incomplete. Alford was back there for the Orange. And defended by Williams.
Good job by Williams. They had a couple steps on him. It's a nice ball. He puts his head down and tries to get in the mix, and he does just that, just enough to knock it away. And, oh, careful. No flag thrown right there, but they've targeted him 6 times here today. They keep going after Williams, and he's turned that head around. There we go.
47-yard attempt from Schmidt. And that line drive goes through. So he had missed from 40. This one is good from Andre Schmidt. 82nd career field goal in an Orange uniform. That is a school record. Continues to build on that school record. You see knuckleballs like this over at Fenway Park, Bates.
Yeah. It wasn't pretty, but he'll take it. He'll take it.
Well within his distance, his career-long 54 yards. In fact, he hit a 54-yarder against Notre Dame this season. And so he's 1 for 2, and he gets the Orange on the board. 47-yard field goal. It was a 12-play drive by the Orange to get 3. Gill at his goal line. Sinkfield is also back there. Gill will not return this one. While we have a second, a message from Wrangler.
It's in all of us. The courage to go all in. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
All right, so here's a chance, an opportunity for Moorhead to come out here and run this 2-minute offense a lot like he did in the come-from-behind win a couple weeks ago at NC State, and he hadn't had many reps. So as much as anything, a great opportunity for the young man to see if he can run a 2-minute offense. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. Good job there by Syracuse to shut it down, but quickly back over the ball.
Broom on the carry, short yardage. Moorhead had it knocked away. Knocked away by Sparrow. That's Orange football at the 20. Deflection and cover. Sparrow for Syracuse.
And WR WR Sparrow coming up huge. Still plenty of time on that clock to get some more points, stripping it away. And a little payback for what happened in the first quarter. BC with the strip on the sack. The marker comes in with the celebration.
Conduct. Defense number 12, his first of the game. 15-yard penalty. The result of the play is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down, Syracuse.
Sparrow, who moved into the starting role with Jones out. Marlowe Wax moving over to the middle linebacker spot.
So each team, James, in this first half with a deflection and cover by the same player. Led to 3 points for Boston College earlier in the half, and now Coach Babers and the Orange have 1:56 to work with, trailing 10-3 after that most recent made field goal from Andre Schmidt from 47 yards away. Mixing up the formation, and now Shrader eases back into the quarterback position. Looking right all the way. Throws it out there near the 30. That was Alford. He's right at the marker as Williams took him out, and that is a first down. Sophomore from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, Alford.
A lot of shifts and motions and screens by a nine there to try to get BC thinking and moving a little bit, and it works. They move those chains. Still plenty of time. 1:49 left on the clock in the first half.
Quick release inside the 20. Mang on the catch. So Boston College has 2 timeouts. So does the Orange. That was an 8-yard play to Max Mang, sophomore from Germany.
Yeah, one of 6 foreign-born players for the Orange, and with the substitution, BC chance to match here for Coach Hafley. Just moments ago, his team was up 10-0, trying to take it to the halftime locker room, and after the field goal, the fumble by Moorhead.
On second down, Shrader's trying to block for Tucker, and he got cut down. Got just inside the 15-yard line. Jackson came up to make the hit for Boston College. 1:04 on the game clock. That produced a first down for the Orange, who can get another one right at the 2. Keep an eye on the clock. 1:04. Shrader's pass. Caught at the 10. Cooper.
Well, nice job mixing it up a little bit now, and goes to Cooper. Second catch of the day for Devon Cooper. He stacked 2 guys over there and left Cooper on a little comeback. So a second down now. And as you mentioned, they can't get a first down inside the 2. Well, they certainly want to finish this drive after the turnover with 7 points and not 3 and tie it up, taking it into the halftime locker room.
Tucker forced back, trying to circle it. He goes down. Cam Horsley stayed with it. He takes down Sean Tucker. Loss on the play.
Fantastic job by Horsley. He's going to fight off the blocker with his right hand, left hand free, able to grab a hold of Sean Tucker, who had a little bit of trouble taking that handoff. Slowed him up a little bit, perhaps, as he took it from Garrett Shrader. And a big drop for a loss here with 51 seconds remaining.
That was a loss of 6 on the play by Horsley. So the Orange have utilized their second timeout. 122 yards of total offense for Syracuse, 98 for Boston College. Shrader is 8 of 11 and 70 yards, now 80 yards passing for Shrader. Sean Tucker, the leading rusher, with 9 carries, 51 yards. As we showed you, moved up to 3rd all-time in rushing yardage in Syracuse history. The pressing matter here is trying to get some points on the board. Late in the second quarter, Shrader all day to the end zone. To the back part of the end zone, and a touchdown. Gadsden pulled it in for the Orange. There is a flag on the play.
Holding. Offense number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat third down.
Left guard is Kalen Ellis. Shrader, nobody near him, and here's why. Trying to fight through is Valdez, but Ellis was about to lose him, so we had to tackle him. How unfortunate, because how about the throw and the catch in the back of the end zone? Dino Babers wants to make sure that his quarterback has the right play call with 44 seconds now and a third down in 20. Wow, what a big penalty, about to tie it up. Instead, the holding call. And right back to business now.
Just 1 for 5 on third down for the Orange. They fake it to Tucker and throw it. It's deflected. Up for grabs and incomplete. C.J. Burton deflecting that pass. Now a flag comes out way late, way after the whistle. Burton is still shaken up.
How about Burton? Barely getting a hand on it. He goes up, and he really took an awkward hit when he went after that deflection. But if that ball is thrown 2 inches higher, it may be touchdown Orange. What a great athletic play by Burton. Just get a piece of it. The sophomore out of Richmond, Virginia. Looks like he's okay. Probably as upset as anything because he almost had a big pick.
Hey, what? That was 70, right? Was that 70? After the play, flagrant personal foul, offense number 70, 15-yard penalty. By rule, number 70 is ejected. The down count is 4th down.
So while Burton goes to the evaluation tent, Cruz, number 70, disqualified. And again, this flag was way late.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And way back. 20-yard line, right side of your screen. They're in the middle of the field. Oh. Oh, man. Come on.
So Enrique Cruz losing his poise for a moment. It's going to cost him the rest of this football game. The other issue, Bates, is that they're being pushed further and further back for any point potential whatsoever.
I mean, Enrique Cruz just swung at that Boston College defender 3 times right out in the middle of the field. You know, and it's always the one that retaliates. Obviously, something, you know, it's a physical football game, and he's upset, and he should be. Just cost his team huge field position.
So they'll go for it on 4th down. Shrader steps up, throws it to the end zone. That's completely up for grabs in a crowd. And incomplete. Alford, the closest Syracuse receiver. And again, that was 4th down for the Orange. They'd only gone for it on 4th down 9 previous times, had little choice here.
And tried to give his big receivers a chance in the back of the end zone. Gadsden was back there, and Alford as well, who's 6'6". Just a little bit too strong. Here's Cruz. Wow. I mean, just a roller coaster of this first half.
Yeah, remember Sparrow had the deflection and cover, James, but they come up empty after the turnover for the Orange.
Moorhead does have a strong arm. Let's see if they try to air it out one time.
Garrow caught that one and angles out of bounds near the 45-yard line.
You know, Tom, I like this by John McNulty, the offensive coordinator. You had the freshman went in there, he got sacked, fumbled, coughed it up, almost a tie game at 10-10. So many crazy things go on. Could have easily just taken a knee, but showing you the trust he has in him. Let him face it one more time.
Out of the pocket. Moorhead on the run. turned it upfield and then dancing his way out of bounds at the 46, and now 14 seconds on the game clock. Okechukwu trying to run down the quarterback Emmett Moorhead. 6 of 9 for 63 yards and a touchdown pass to Zay Flowers, who tied the career record for receiving touchdowns here at Boston College and set the single season record.
Still 2 timeouts left for the Eagles.
That was a 7-yard pass play in the first quarter. This to the 40. Garwo diving forward. Wax on the stop.
It's good to see number 2 back out there. He left the game earlier. Marlo Wax back in his middle linebacker spot over there to make the play. There he is.
BC timeout stops the clock. 9 seconds to go in the quarter. Those 10 points off a strip and cover and off a block punt by the Eagles in this first half. Just 98 total yards. The Orange with 145. Of course, BC got shut out last week. Syracuse went on the road at Wake and lost by 10. Last week was BC's first shutout loss since 2016. Adverse weather conditions, it was all Irish a week ago. Out of bounds to Flowers and caught. Isaiah Johnson defensively for the Orange. First down BC. Now 5 seconds on the game clock.
Oh, a nice job by Hafley's offense to move it down there. 2-minute O. See what you can get.
Sets up
a chance.
Yeah, 45-yard chance. He's made it from 28 and missed from 46.
Syracuse using that last time out. And you never know. Just make sure you got everybody on the same page. Wouldn't it be rough to fall to a little fake here in this situation? Long field goal try. Litton can hit it. You never know. Got one more play, and these points are precious here in this football game as we go back and forth. Just a few moments ago, Dino Babers thought he had it tied at 10. Instead, they get no points after that turnover, after the fumble by Moorhead. So here we go, a 45-yard attempt.
46 is the longest made this season for Litton. "45 yards away." Off to the left and no good. So on the last play of the quarter, and now we have some activity post-whistle. Some spirited and emotional play as the coaches try to separate these two teams.
Charlie, you hate to take Sean Tucker out of the equation, but first things first, you've got to protect number 6. And to begin this second half, though, they'll have to stop the other guys, number 14 and number 4, and the rest of the BC offense.
Denneberg kicks it away to start the second half. This is a short kick up past the 10 for Gill. Backs his way past the 30-yard line. Once again, a couple of players get tangled up. If you were with us right before halftime, there were some words exchanged, but both teams escorted to their respective locker rooms without incidents. And Emmett Moorhead, 9 of 12 and 89 yards for Boston College. Moorhead made his first start at home against Duke for the injured Phil Dracovic. Promptly threw for 330 yards and 4 touchdown passes. Was the first BC QB to do that since Doug Flutie back in 1981 in his first career start. Flutie threw for 4 TDs, and so did Moorhead.
And here you go, Tom, right back to the ground and right back to Garwo. picking up where he left off. There's Doug Flutie right next to Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly had some tackling fuel, didn't he?
Just a few days ago, James, was the anniversary of the November 23rd Hail Mary pass by Flutie against Miami to Gerard Phelan in the end zone, 47-45 BC.
I remember where I was. Do you remember where you were when that went down?
I do, and you know I'm originally from Massachusetts, so we were certainly camped around the television watching that football game in '84. BC finished 10-2 that year, won the Cotton Bowl. Flutie's 30 career wins are still a school record here at Boston College.
You know, we got an important third down coming up, but I'm a little bit bummed you wouldn't share where you were.
I was in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay.
My hometown.
All right.
Run it. That is awfully close for Garwo. Should be enough. Yep. How about Garwo? I mean, the entire BC offense struggled a week ago, James. Garwo, 8 carries for just 24 yards. Broom had 7 carries and 25 yards, and he was the leading rusher against Notre Dame. Wow, look at that.
There you have the Heisman and the picture of Flutie behind long before Flutie Flakes came around. But what a great, what a great guy.
Flutie defending that Heisman Trophy replica on display here at the BC football offices. With that giant picture of Doug Flutie in the background. There's a huge statue out in front of the stadium. Just a little earlier today. Might be a couple of snowflakes as well, but that is the statue of the Hail Mary pass. If you remember the play, he did well to extend the play, remember, James.
Yeah.
He got away from pressure, stepped into the throw, and Gerard Phelan caught it in the end zone against the Canes, 47-45. And that moment, and Flutie's number remembered throughout Alumni Stadium. Orange appeared to come across. It's going to be a first down either way to the 45. Garwo.
I was about to say they had a chance at a freebie had they snapped it, able to get back across, but same result. But 5 yards on the ground as opposed to 5 yards via the flag. Kachukwu in the middle.
From the 45-yard line. Moorhead, little zip on that one at the 40. And caught Jalen Gill. Good hands on the pass from Moorhead.
Yeah, taking care of that football. 5 turnovers for this BC team in the Notre Dame loss. And all 5 of them coming, unfortunately, from Emmett Moorhead. 2 fumbles and 3 interceptions. Sacked 4 times in that game. He's moving this offense right now to start the second half, though. Looking pretty good.
Second and manageable. Not when Syracuse plays defense like that and diagnoses the play. Garwo ran into Sparrow. He'll lose 3.
Oh, wow. How about that? Sparrow turns that body. He had 2 guys trying to get a hand on him, and he just knifes right through him. Doesn't give him a whole lot to hang on to as he slips on through. Excellent job for his defensive coordinator, Tony White. He's made some big plays when they really needed him here tonight with a couple injuries to those linebackers. Big third down now coming.
5 of 8 for BC on third down. That pass near the 35-yard line. That's awfully close as well, and that's enough. So BC converts on third down. Johnson makes the catch, and the chains are moving.
You know, the hustle and the effort after the catch twice already for John McNulty's offense here on this drive. We saw it earlier in the drive. Alex Broom caught the ball. North and south right now. Go get me what you can, and that's exactly what Taji Johnson did there on that one to move the chains. First down and 10 at the 35.
Moorhead in his 4th straight start for the Eagles. A little razzle trickeration, and it results in nothing for Boston College, and perhaps a wise decision by Moorhead to just toss it towards the orange bench.
Absolutely. Keeping them honest. Just because it's a trick play and just because you practiced it all week and it worked, doesn't mean you have to try to force it in the game. Great job by Syracuse, not falling for it. They've got it covered. Throw that ball out of bounds. It's 2nd down and 10.
November 12th was that win on the road against then number 16 NC State for this BC team, 21-20, with Moorhead at quarterback. He wants to chuck it. Diving attempt. That is incomplete to Gill. Chestnut draped all over him. It's a great attempt by Gill, and Rye smile.
Eagle bench. They want a PI flag right there. They won't get it, and wow, very close. Good effort by Gill. Giving him a chance anyway. Moorhead, but incomplete, so a 3rd down and 10.
10 plays already in this drive for Boston College with the football at the 35-yard line.
Both backers walked up. Here they come.
Edges will bend. Moorhead trying to get away. He did. A flag came out. He's running with the football. Gallops inside the 25. And down near the 20, there is a penalty marker thrown back at the 40.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
That's 62. The left guard there. I thought it was 52 Vettorello, but wow, all that hustle for nothing because they're going back the other way. And you've had both these teams have had so many guys banged up, and it was Otto Hess called for the penalty, and doing all they can to keep off 6 Syracuse rushers. So it's 3rd down and 20 now instead of that 1st down after the nifty run.
Little screen pass. So Broom well short of the 1st down. BC needed the 25 of the orange. Clock rolling and approaching 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and it's 4th down for Boston College.
Good hustle play by Lowry, another young linebacker, forced into action here today. Sparrow, Lowry, Bailey, these guys are young, but they're the future. They're in the middle of that Syracuse orange defense and getting it done right now. Big stop there. BC was driving.
Candotti with the punt, and it's out near the 5-yard line. So the Orange with the football and trailing and deep in their own territory in the 3rd quarter after the punt.
To build the all-new
5 in a row to ranked opponents, and NC State had won 16 in a row at home, and BC comes away with a 1-point victory.
A freshman to freshman there. And here comes Cuse.
Down the sideline. That's Cooper, catch and run for the Orange. Lubisher knocked him out, James.
Cooper's having a nice night, able to get that corner turn with the speed, and then he turns it on straight up the sidelines. So making up some ground and some good field position here. Back to that NC State game, it was 22nd ranked NC State looking for win number 17 in a row at home. And BC down 14-0 early.
See Cooper on the sideline there, James. Cooper went to the sideline after the 23-yard gain. He's the first known FBS player to catch a pass in 7 straight seasons. Played at Arizona and UTEP before coming to Syracuse. Another sack for BC, and that's number 5. Valdez.
Comes up chirping. Chirping. Right side of your screen. Going to come all the way down, and look at the hustle. No give up right there. He had been run past. Makes a U-turn on that bad wheel. And they'll give him a break right here.
Wasn't he one of your impact players, James, for Boston College on defense?
Yeah, and he limps off, and he continues to make an impact. Senior day, senior night for him.
Shrader picks out a receiver. 35-yard line. Battling forward. That's some physical play out there. Gadsden. And that's a first down for the Orange. Rondé Gadsden, the second. James, that's 6'5", 216-pound frame for the sophomore. He got 14.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier his dad, of course, an NFL wide receiver, played for the Dolphins. Heck, all these former Dolphin players, their sons, Jason Taylor's sons, playing some great ball at LSU. They need to make a team of their own.
That pass threaded in there and complete, 35-yard line. Shrader with touch and poise, and it's Gadsden again, the target, as he beat Cam Arnold.
Yeah. Dino Babers told Wiley at halftime, that dirty pocket, this is pretty clean right there. Lint-free, that pocket. Nobody near Shrader. Plenty of time for that route to develop. And the big man Gadsden's going to go up and get it and get some after the catch.
26 yards, previous play for the Orange. First down for the BC 35-yard line. Shrader now 13 of 17, 157 yards through the air. As to toss it again. Now he'll take off. Up the middle of the field. Shrader, the aerial spin to the 16. $19 yards. And after that Shrader run for the Orange, on the move and inside the red zone, brought to you by CPI Security.
Yeah, don't forget about the wheels of Shrader. Even though he's been banged up a little bit, going back to that FSU game, he could barely move around, starting to get some of that mobility back, and that's dangerous. Direct snap here to Tucker.
Tucker at the 10. Takes on the contact and goes down inside the CPI Security red zone. Syracuse is 0 for 1 in the red zone. Tucker got 6 on that play. Robert Anai, offensive coordinator for the Orange. 7th play of the drive upcoming. Syracuse started the night 9th in the conference in total offense. 360 yards per game. Shrader with some time. Has it down near the 6 to Alford. Couldn't spin away. Arnold on the tackle.
Alford's having a good game as well. Another Canadian from Montreal. He's got that maple leaf on his helmet and on his mouthpiece as well. But a great catch in the second quarter. That deep ball near the goal line last week. Here's a 3rd and very short now.
As you saw, just 1 for 7 on 3rd down for Syracuse. Whistle stopped the play.
Ball start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Well, that's, guys, this is the best drive you've had. You got all the momentum. You got a defense that's had their way with you. 4 sacks in the first quarter. You got them on their heels. Finally. Chance to go punch it in the end zone. Don't start sputtering again right here. It was the penalty that took away the touchdown in the first half.
Shrader, there was pressure coming from the backside, and he got it away. Cooper back into the game for the Orange, making the play. That is a first down. 1st and goal.
Nice job. They've been running this whip route quite a bit here, both of these teams. The receiver will go inside and quick whip it back outside. A nice timing route. These quarterbacks and receivers back sometimes in that situation have to be on the same page. Certainly we're right there. Fresh set of downs inside the 5.
Just beyond the 3. Tucker, stutter step. Into the pile. Not a lot available for Tucker.
Done a pretty good job of keeping 34 in check here throughout the night. Can't take a play off against him. He's too good. One of the best in college football.
That was his 14th carry of the game, James. 10th play of the drive, and again, several penalty markers.
Ball start. Offense number 52. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Complete frustration.
They overcame the last false start and got a first down. You're working so hard to get into the end zone for the first time here tonight. And the 10th penalty, 76 total yards worth of penalties. And again, you're going back the wrong way. Second down and goal.
Shrader, deep drop. Running around, just heaves it. And that is well out of bounds. First row here at Alumni Stadium.
Souvenir ball.
Allen was the closest orange receiver. Shrader was in serious trouble, and now the Orange are staring at 3rd and goal. Same thing happened late in the second quarter, James, when they moved the ball down deep into BC territory, and penalties forced them back.
Thought they were going to tie it up right before halftime. Actually had a connection in the back of the end zone, but there was a holding on that play.
Shrader on 3rd and goal. Grabbed around the neck, and he goes down. There's a Rocco.
I was just about to say I'd get that field goal unit out there. You're going to need it to win this football game anyway. It just got kind of ugly when they got down low. Shrader thought he had an opening. Ezra Rocco doing a great job hanging on for dear life. Got a runny nose, I guess.
So this is going to be a 29-yard attempt. Andre Schmidt is 1 for 2 in the game. All-time leader in made field goals, Syracuse football history. Not much doubt about that one. So another field goal from Schmidt, 3 more points. And the gap is now 10-6. Eagles at home.
Warrior.
The new kids on the block, hanging tough. We're built tough. Brought to you by Wrangler. 6 sacks now for Tim Lukabu's. 7.
Even better.
Why not? That is even better. 7 sacks for Boston College here in this game with time still left in the 3rd quarter. And they have just gotten after it for their defensive coordinator, Tim Lukabu. Drawing it up, and Shrader, very dangerous quarterback, as we've seen a couple times here in this game. But most of the time, he's been bottled up and brought down. It's 10-6. Eagles, after the Orange just kicked a field goal, the second of the game, to cut the lead to 4.
BC 2-5 in conference play. 3-8 overall. One of those wins was in the 3rd week of the season against Maine. That was the last time they had a halftime lead. They had the halftime lead against the Orange 10-3 moments ago. A Schmidt field goal to make it 10-6. So makes from 47 and 29 yards away. Gill's the deep man for the kickoff from the Orange. Fielded at the 2. Just past the 20 on the return for Gill. So let's take a timeout. Boston College on offense with the 10-6 lead against a Syracuse watching. Syracuse up. Boston College with wins against Maine, Louisville, and on the road against NC State. We showed you the flashback of that game this season for BC. They've had some flashes.
We were here for one of those flashes, that Maine game early in the season. What, week 3 or 4?
Yeah, week 3, 38-21 at home against Maine. A home win against Louisville by a point, 34-33, and then the road win against NC State.
The black hole defense, the Maine Bears.
course, the Orange, James, out of the gate, 6-0. What a run by Syracuse. They were certainly one of the headlining stories of the ACC the first half of the season. That last victory came on October 15th. That was also against NC State at the Dome. And remember, Coach Babers told us about how they stormed the field and what a moment that was. He just sat back and soaked it in. I don't think he would have expected that to be the last win coming into the BC game, but that's exactly the situation the Orange finds itself in. A pass complete on a line, and a big collision and a confrontation. And here comes the BC sideline as well. Moorhead, he's shown a lot of arm strength throwing that football. Last week he had a lot of trouble in the elements.
Came all the way across the field. And, you know, back to Babers, there have only been 2 other college football teams that have started 6-0 and lost their last 6. Ron Zook's Illinois team in 2011. Baylor did it in 2016. So Babers, they don't want to join that short list, that's for sure. Got to win tonight, though, to stay off of it.
To the 42 on the scramble for Moorhead. Couldn't find a receiver. Again, this is his 4th start in a row. In for Phil Dracovic, the Notre Dame transfer to Boston College, and that is going to end the 3rd quarter. Season in the ACC. Final day of the regular season. Championship game next Saturday. Charlotte, North Carolina, Bank of America Stadium. That'll be the 12th time contested there. Pitt beat Wake in the game last year. And this is our 39th year. Valley Sports and Raycom Sports bringing you ACC football all the way back to 1984, which we've already referenced. And the Doug Flutie Hail Mary pass against Miami. That's when it all got started. Moorhead up to 128 yards passing. Tries the sideline. Over the shoulder grab. It can only be one man. Zay Flowers.
Blitz is coming. It's picked up. Just enough time for Moorhead to drop a beautiful dime. And look at the focus. 1, 2 feet down. A body all over him. Zay Flowers. My goodness, what a throw, what a catch. And it was good coverage.
That was Johnson on the last grab. 30 yards on the Flowers catch, his 6th of the game. 6 for 87 yards for Flowers. Garlow had the ball separated. Flag came out. Again, there is a marker down.
It's a perfect example, young football players, while you put that ball in the outside arm, you're running down that sideline, somebody hits you. Well, it's a good place for it to go out of bounds. So that defense can't recover it.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 23. The penalty is, of course, half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Justin Barron, you know, and that's one thing that Dino Babers said to Wiley Ballard coming out of the locker room at halftime. This is football. People get mad. It's physical, back and forth, but do it in between the whistles. Costing your football team here. You're fighting, trying to get back in the win column. You're just giving them freebies. You've already had one guy ejected. You've got to clean it up.
Garlow with the surge up the middle.
10-yard line, right side of your screen. Okay, there it is. And what it was just a shot. That was actually...
Those numbers.
Barron,
yeah,
looked like an 8, but I think it's just because we're so far up.
Garlow trucking up the middle and into the end zone. Pat Garlow, touchdown, Boston College.
Eagles give it to the leading rusher. Down low, a little help from penalties, a lot of help from Zay Flowers. Emmett Moorhead, that offensive line. Ringing that bell, perhaps a victory bell as they try to finish off this season with win number 4. The lead is 11. Pat Garlow into the paint. He's been running hard behind that offensive line. Syracuse still plenty of time, but they have got to take care of the football, and they got to take care of those penalties. Eliminate them.
Garlow, who rushed for over 1,000 yards last year for BC. Tonight, 20 carries, 74 yards, and a rushing TD of 4 yards to put BC up 17-6 early fourth. Allen and Jackson are deep for the Orange.
Allen Jackson.
Allen and Jackson. Syracuse with the football. We get a message from Green Machine.
With our 62-volt battery-powered blower in your hands, you are a machine. So power the machine with Green Machine. Available online at HomeDepot.com.
Orange with the football at its own 19 and trailing 17-6. See what they've done tonight.
Penalties and so costly. There you see the fourth down and long that they did not convert from Shrader.
Put the shoulder down and got popped after a short gain, if any.
You could hear that pop way up here, couldn't you?
Now remember, Shrader in the game last year, James, he had a 48-yard touchdown run in that game. Sean Tucker had a 51-yard rushing touchdown against the Eagles. That was at the Dome last year. In fact, Tucker ran for over 200 yards by himself. Shrader, arm was deflected. His arm angle was certainly altered by the pressure. And that ball was up for grabs. Cam Arnold right up in his face.
Garrett Shrader has a lot more football under his belt than Moorhead. He's got to realize at this point he's got to bail. It's too late. He's got to bail. He's got a lot of space over there, too. The left side of the field tries to get rid of it, and he pays for waiting too long. And look at the aggressive rush. Rusher's just relentless and not giving up and finally getting to him. Here's the third down. Here comes the pressure again.
Shrader on the run. Got it away. And that sails into the seats. There's a flag out.
Roughing the passer. Defense number 6. Illegal high contact. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Ezeraku, here it is. Shrader able to escape once, and he goes right at the hat. Oh, totally unnecessary. You talk about bailing an offense out. You had him. You're going to get off the field. They're going to punt it away, and you're going to have great field position. Ah, that's silly. Sophomore Donovan Ezeraku, guy who leads this team with sacks and tackle for loss, hurts him right there and gives some new life to this Syracuse offense.
Ezeraku has a couple of sacks tonight. Costly penalty. Shrader, wide open man, midfield. It's Gadsden. And that's BC side of the 50 at the 49. Rondé Gadsden, 6th reception on the night. He got 16.
And right back at it, finding his big man. Plenty of time there for Shrader and just setting up shop right there in the middle of that zone. And here comes the little big man, Sean Tucker.
5'10", 210 pounds, and a sophomore from Owings Mills, Maryland, Sean Tucker. Tucker's already moved up to 3rd in school history. Career rush yardage. Went over 1,000 for the season this evening after running for over 1,700 yards last year and setting the school record. Quick flip, 30-yard line. First down, Orange. Damian Alford. Orange on the move, James.
Doing it on the ground and through the air. A little bit of life. Justifiably so. You got bailed out right down near your own end zone.
They got 13 on the previous play. That's Tucker into the line. Close to the 25-yard line. Shrader now up to 196 yards passing. Set his career mark with 324 yards through the air a week ago in the loss at Wake Forest. 45-35. Shrader to the left, open man. That's Cooper. Cuts it to 10 and gets bashed between a couple of maroon jerseys, but inside the 10 to the 8 for Devon Cooper.
And it's a pass rush that isn't getting there now. 4 guys coming and none of them getting even close to Shrader. Perhaps gas, no substitutions for Syracuse, so they're staying out there. And Tem Lukabu's defense, who was in the lap of Shrader play after play, now a little bit winded after that penalty flag. Gave him a fresh set of downs. They got to find a way to stiffen here down low like they have so many times tonight, though.
First and goal, quick release. Cooper to the pylon. Front left corner and touchdown Orange. Devon Cooper.
Syracuse will go for 2 here. There's an injured Orange player, Caitlin Ellis. Tough time getting up. They'll tend to him, and a chance to talk about a 2-point play here. Robert and I, no difference really in being down 5 or 4 at this point in the 4th quarter. Transferred from UTEP. Cooper.
Wears number 7 in his 7th year of collegiate football as well. How about an 81-yard drive from the Orange? And Shrader up to 222 yards passing as they attend to Ellis.
Yeah, they had to bring in some bigger bodies to help him off. 6'6", 375-pounder from St. Louis School in Hawaii. If I'm not mistaken, that's where Barack Obama, a lot of... No, I take that back.
Take it back. It's okay.
Okay, take it back. Yeah.
Take it back.
No, St. Louis is a very good football program. Them and Kahuku are big rivals. But it's the school up on the hill, I think, is where Barack Obama and many other very famous Hawaiians went to high school. Robert and I went to Kahuku up on the North Shore.
Yeah, put him in that group as well.
Yeah, he's famous.
Robert and I won a national championship as an offensive lineman at BYU back in 1984.
Oh.
Man, that keeps coming up. So the Orange going for 2. Just under 10 minutes to go in the 4th. We are far from done. Chestnut Hill. Shrader trying to extend the play. Makes a move at the 3, and he cannot get to the goal line. BC denies Shrader on the 2-point attempts.
They get 6. Shrader to Cooper to the end zone, but they don't get 8. The pressure's there. There's Valdez and the rest of his buddies keeping Shrader out of the end zone. 5-point game. Long. Oh, it's over. They got a punt right. Wrong. That's a Raku with the 15-yard penalty. Keep hope alive. And Gadsden over the middle. Nice chunk of change and taking it to the house right there. Cooper from Shrader to pull within 5, and then it would stay right there as Shrader was denied as he tried to make it a 2-point conversion and make the difference a field goal for Dino Babers' football team. But still plenty of football to be played. Just under 10 minutes left to go here in the 4th frame.
That was the 16th TD pass of the season from Shrader, the 3rd for Cooper receiving. He took it into the end zone. 7-yard pass play, Shrader to Cooper. So a couple of field goals in that most recent TD. Gill, the deep man, 9:56 to go in the 4th. This is an Eastern football rivalry that goes all the way back to 1924. Teams met every year from 1971 to 04. They were both members of the Big East as well. And this is the 56th all-time meeting. It appears that this one could go right down to the wire as Syracuse responds after Garwo had run it in from 4 yards away for Boston College. Again, the teams have not played here, James, since 2018. And that was a win for the Orange, 42-21. Because of scheduling quirks over the last few years, the last 3 games have been played at the Dome. Syracuse won it last year. BC had taken the 2 prior, also at the Dome. Shoulder down, another big collision. We've seen a few of those tonight. Did the ball come out tail end of the play? Syracuse is going to run it into the end zone with Clark. We certainly heard some whistles.
Yeah, usually they'll hold off on those whistles, but I heard a couple blows, so I think safe to say that this one is down. We will take another look at it, though, and Garwo was losing it. Oh, he was losing it, but I think he still had it in his possession when those knees went down, but it was coming out a little bit earlier than I thought. Nice pickup, though, when it's all done of 8 yards.
Run it again, running for a first down, 37-yard line, Pat Garwo.
Garwo saying, was this close? And there's another look at it. Good job to try to get a piece of that rock anyway by the defender. That's Justin Barron. Could have spent some time on it, but I think those knees, really before it truly came all the way out. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter right now. It's a fresh set of downs here for Boston College.
Ground game again for BC and Garwo.
Syracuse now, it's Garwo's running hard behind that offensive line. He's starting to do a little bit of damage. You can't let your guard down with a little hard play action pass and let him hit you for a big one. Especially got to know where number 4 is. Right now he's right on the hash mark down at the bottom of your screen.
Garwo's up to 86 yards rushing. They wanted to throw. A flag came out. Moorhead got wrapped up and dropped. Marlowe whacks number 2 for the Orange. Penalty marker.
Holding offense number 62. The penalty is declined. It's 3rd down.
Wow. There you see left side of your screen. Otto Hess tried to play catch up with Marlowe Wax. It doesn't matter. They'll take that sack and that loss of yardage, so it's 3rd down and 17 now.
After the loss of 7. Moorhead on the run. Got it away as he was going down.
He made it interesting. I didn't think he was going to get rid of it. Lowry was closing in a hurry. Forced to roll out right now. The penetration right up the middle, and here comes Lowry. Gosh, that was close too. That knee might have been down. Lucky to get that one away. Would have been the difference of just a couple yards. An incomplete pass, and they'll punt it away with 8:06 left on the clock.
Longman is in to punt. 99 for the Eagles. Courtney Jackson is deep. Bounces at the 40. That's a BC bounce inside the 30. A couple of players get tangled up, and the Eagles finally touch it down at the 27. 7:55 to go in the 4th. Syracuse has the football back and trails 17-12 to Boston College.
Warrior 1,
He's wearing jersey number 31 in honor of Jay McGillis, a former Boston College defensive back who died of cancer 30 years ago. And this is an honor bestowed upon a Boston College senior. Every year during spring practice, they announce who will be awarded the Jay McGillis Scholarship, and Woodby earned that honor thanks to his dedication, competitive spirit, and personal concern for friends and family. And Jaden said it was a great honor for him, especially because he is the first Boston College transfer to earn that honor. So Jaden would be playing with a little extra motivation wearing that number 31 in honor of Jay McGillis instead of his usual number 9.
Awesome, Wiley, and his old uniform before he transferred, pretty much the same colors. They call it garnet and gold, though, back in Tallahassee. A transfer from Florida State, so he's just about covered the country, starting off in California, where he played his high school ball, and then to Tallahassee. But what an honor to wear that here tonight on senior night.
Shrader goes out to block, trying to lead the way for Tucker. Vinny De Palma on the tackle. First down for the Orange, 11 yards on the play.
Syracuse, that's the plan right here on this drive. Stay ahead of those chains. Don't get in those second down and longs. Those nice pickups on first down.
Cooper made the catch. Knee was down.
And that'll work right there as well, Tom. About 5 or 6 yards. Setting up a second down and 4 certainly makes life easy for Robert and I. A little bit tougher for Tem Lukabu.
Orange at its last chance, trying to win on the road. 0-3 in the ACC on the road, and a deep pass. And that is caught in stride inside the 20 and into the end zone. Damian Alford from Garrett Shrader. Touchdown, Orange. 58 yards through the air.
Earlier we saw in the first half, Williams was beat in a similar situation, but he played catch-up and was able to break it up. Ferris, just too much distance in between he and Alford, and too perfectly thrown football by Shrader. Drops it right in there to the big man's hands. Damian Alford, 6'6", 211 pounds, to the house and to the lead. Will they add on here and make it a 3-point game?
Shrader. Ball pops out near the 1. Cooper got hit by Arnold. So another unsuccessful 2-point conversion. But how about this play of 58 yards to Alford? In stride, on schedule, his second receiving TD of the season. Second TD pass by Shrader. And the Orange have taken a 1-point lead. 7 minutes and change in the 4th.
No matter what the weather.
Game, 7-yard TD reception earlier in this quarter. They were going for 2 and he got hit by Cam Arnold.
Had to go back and get it, and Arnold delivering the blow. Knocking that ball loose, so 0 for 2 on 2-point conversions. Shrader in the Orange, but they're on top.
58-yard pass from Shrader. That's his second TD pass of the game, 17th of the season. He's up to 285 yards passing.
Doesn't get any prettier than that. I mean, you mentioned it. Hit Alford in stride. Didn't even have to slow it down a little bit. That was a beautifully thrown football. Nice route run by the sophomore from Montreal.
Shrader also, James, 11 of 13 and 191 yards in the second half for the Orange. And now they've scored touchdowns on their last 2 possessions. Both TD passes from Shrader. Gill watches it sail through the end zone. Well, we have a message from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
Well, we have a second here in the fourth quarter. Some folks to thank are people in Atlanta: Jeff Gentner, Corey Stolte, Jamie Shapiro, David White. Back in Charlotte, Bill Stafford, Wes Beringer, Mona Flowers, Kelly Bowen, our executive producer, Rob Reichley. What a season it's been for 2022. And our presentation of ACC football. 13 straight weeks, and we might finish with a bang here at Bates, as that's Flowers up the sideline.
What do you mean, Mike? Oh, we're going. I'm planning on.
13 yards to Flowers.
You know, if it's up to Zay Flowers, guys like Zay Flowers and Marcus Valdez, they're going to go down fighting, that's for sure. And perfect example right there by number 4. Not content with a nice 5 or 6 yard gain. He wants the first down, and he fights for it and gets it.
How about Zay up to 100 yards receiving in this game? He has a touchdown catch. That one goes nowhere to Garwell. In fact, Zay, number 4 in maroon and gold, 10th time in his career to get to 100 yards receiving. Really one of the all-time greats here at Boston College, and we've been lucky to watch him over the last few years, James.
Well, and it's not just the coaches that are here on the staff right now. I got a text yesterday from Brian White, former running back coach here on Adazio's staff. Sent me a text, knew I was coming up here. He recruited Zay Flowers from Fort Lauderdale. Said, hey, please go say hi to Zay Flowers for me. I love that kid. Everybody loves him. Boston College fans sure glad he came back and hoping that he can lead them to win number 4 here tonight. Just a few of the highlights that we've seen in this 100-yard-plus game here tonight, and still 6:15 left to go, and perhaps some more scoring, just finding a way to get him the ball. One of 12 finalists in the Biletnikoff Award.
49th career game for Flowers, over 3,000 yards receiving, best in school history. Tonight, Flowers has 6 receptions. That gives him 198 for his career, first in school history. He has tied the career receiving touchdown record set by Kelvin Martin at 28. And he's got 11 receiving touchdowns this season. That's a BC record.
He's all by his lonesome up top right now. They'll come down the bottom. Complete the gill.
Jatias Greer was taken to the sideline for the Orange prior to the previous play.
Those injuries seem to hurt a little bit more. Cold night. You know, Babers with the jacket on, not in the dome anymore.
7 of 12 on 3rd down for the Eagles. And their redshirt freshman quarterback, Emmett Moorhead. Out of the pocket. On the run. Pursued. It's knocked away. It's on the turf. Scooped up by the Orange. Steve Linton on the cover for Syracuse. They had Moorhead on the run, and they knocked it away from the BC quarterback.
Moorhead looking like he's banged up a little bit. Moorhead on the run, but you better run faster because they're coming for you. Okachukwu runs him down from the backside, knocks that football out, and the Syracuse fans are hopping a little bit right now with the lead and the football as Linton recovers it.
And Linton had just come in for Jatias Greer, who went out of the game for the Orange. So they've got the football now after the cover by Steve Linton. Ball knocked away. Up the middle with the spinning Tucker. Tell you what, James, when Garwo took it in earlier in the quarter for the touchdown from 4 yards out, it appeared that BC had all the momentum. Remember that personal foul on the subsequent drive by the Orange? They took it down the field with the benefit of that penalty. They've scored again with a touchdown pass to Alford, 58 yards. Now they've got the ball back on another turnover.
You hate to call it that, but it goes down right now, perhaps, as the play of the game, and not in a good way if you're Jeff Hafley in Boston College. The illegal hands to the face, 15 yards and a free first down. They haven't looked back. Syracuse.
Stretching it out. Shrader is sliding in the vicinity of the 20. Williams in pursuit.
You know, Shrader right there is showing you a little bit deceptive, the speed, but able to turn on the jets to get that corner turned on a corner back. Just outrunning him, getting it turned. Go ahead and taking the slide after he moves those chains. Robert and I calling the plays on the offensive side, and Tony White's defense coming up with a huge play. Put the ball back in the hands of the offense for Syracuse.
Shrader cradles it inside the 20. There's Araku on the tackle. Syracuse has one win away from the Dome this season, James. They're 1-3 on the road, and that came at Connecticut. Week 2 of the season, 48-14.
You know, a couple of these plays right here, especially when you've got a healthy Garrett Shrader with those legs. Remember, he's been banged up a little bit here in the middle of the season. Schmidt hoping they don't need him, hoping they can go in and punch it in, make this an 8-point ball game. But Shrader, those gotta have it runs. There's one for Tucker.
Not quite to the first down marker.
Helmet came flying off, so we'll have to make a substitution. No flag with that helmet. Josh Loa rather. Third down and short. He'll have to go over. Both of these offensive lines have been so banged up already.
You see they've converted 2 of 9 in the game for the Orange. It's third and a long one. 396 total yards in the game for Syracuse. 285 through the air. Tucker, the leading rusher, 18 carries, 87 yards. All the way down to 1 and the timeout taken. First by the Orange. 2:37 to go in the 4th. So Boston College had appeared to take control of this game after a Garwo rushing touchdown and then the personal foul.
Yeah, Esaraku, the penalty, 15 yards. And that led to this. Cooper at the other end of that drive that was saved by that penalty with the touchdown. 2-point conversion failed. Then the big one, 58 yards. Alford to the house. Another 2-point conversion that failed. BC with the ball back. Knocked away. And Linton comes up with it. And Dino Babers trying to get off that losing streak of 5 in a row after starting 6-0. Trying to get back to the winning ways before they go bowling here at season's end.
Field goal and a couple of TDs in those last 3 drives. When Garwo scored, it was 17-6 BC. It's been all Orange since that point. Allen inside the 10, dragging an Eagle with him. Down to about the 5 for LaQuint Allen. Maitre went for the ride. 9 yards on the play.
It's a nice play call. Little jet sweep handoff here to Linton, and good blocking there on the perimeter to help him get it turned upfield. I thought they were going to string it out, and not much of a gain right there, but an excellent play for a nice offense.
So while BC calls a timeout, 2:34 to go in the game. We also want to thank our producers for the season. Scott Snyder, Brian Woodrum, our directors, Lonnie Dale, Brett Lancaster, our spotter, Skip McMillan, our statistician, Freddie Kiger, and the cast of hundreds who help bring ACC football to you every single Saturday for 13 straight weeks, Biggs.
Jay Hoover in there, too.
Jay with us last week.
Yeah, that was when Scooter went to like Wet and Wild or something like that.
It's been another fun ride, Bates. Another fourth year for us.
It has. It really has.
And look at this finish that we're set up for. Syracuse has been short of postseason with their 6 wins right out of the gate. This is Tucker. Cuts toward the end zone, and Tucker is in for the Orange. Touchdown, Sean Tucker.
About the only thing that hasn't been working as of late for the Orange, and now his glasses got him all tangled up after that touchdown. So the lead is 4, or 8 rather. Here comes Schmidt. And the lead is 7 to try to make it 8. There you go. It's a big extra point try right here for Andre Schmidt.
Not an issue. 19 unanswered points from the Orange. A field goal and 3 touchdowns in their last 4 drives. And the 26th career rushing TD for Sean Tucker, which is 7th in Syracuse school history. The top 10 in those college football playoff rankings, James, and some interesting results today.
Yeah, absolutely. Ohio State getting beat up by the guys from up north. Michigan moving to 12-0, and the Horned Frogs there in Cowtown beating Iowa State 62-14. How about this LSU score? Jimbo Fisher and the Aggies on top 38-25. USC leading Notre Dame by 10, 49-27. Alabama on top of Auburn in the Iron Bowl. We told you about Clemson. And Oregon State, the Beavers got the Ducks. Tennessee Volunteers leading Vandy, and Skip McMillan, he's happy about that.
For ACC interest, the loss by Clemson today takes them out of the college football playoff picture. They will play North Carolina in the ACC title game. That'll be next Saturday, Charlotte, North Carolina, the 12th time at Bank of America Stadium in the 70th season of ACC football.
One more try. The redshirt freshman and his offense. Chance to drive it down and tie it up. The lead is 8. So they'd have to get into the end zone and hit a 2-point conversion, but got a ways to go. Let's see if they start this drive with the same intensity they started this football game.
The time for Moorhead. Garwo couldn't hang on. You saw the total numbers for Syracuse offensively, James. 265 yards for the Orange in the second half.
Wow.
BC had the lead 10-3 at halftime. Pat Garwo scored a rushing touchdown in the 4th quarter, and BC led 17-6. Syracuse has turned the story around. Incomplete. Darton pressuring.
Darton's been big in the middle for this defense. 5'11", 266, the sophomore.
And a Massachusetts native from Fitchburg, Massachusetts.
Worcester Academy right back home, forcing a 3rd down and long.
That's near the 30. Johnson, clock is rolling. Chestnut pulled him out of bounds.
4th down. Make sure they're set. Here we go. They'll bring 3.
Moorhead trying to dance. He got hit there at the 34-yard line.
That's it. You got him. He didn't make it. Marlowe whacks. Sparrow. Huge play. Defense gets right back out there and shuts them down.
1:48 to go. Nice. Wax in the open field there, James.
Yeah, Wax, who left the game earlier with an injury. Mikel Jones couldn't play. He was injured against Wake Forest. There's the Wax man.
The mob defense coming through for the Orange. Offense wasn't too shabby either in the second half.
Let's see, hit that timeout right away. About this football game, it's oh man, you haven't seen Dino Babers change emotion very much throughout it. He just kind of ridden on this roller coaster all the way through. Talks it over with Jason Beck, his quarterback coach.
An explosive second half and fourth quarter for the Orange, and that's what they did in winning last year. James has scored 3 touchdowns in less than 5 minutes in the third quarter at the Dome to beat BC. This would be the second straight win of the series for the Orange if this score holds up. So 19 points in this fourth quarter. They had 22 points in the fourth against Purdue. And remember the game against Purdue, they scored with 7 seconds left on a TD pass from Shrader to Gadsden. And that was the difference. In fact, the teams in that game combined for 42 points in the fourth quarter. Syracuse and Purdue. Plenty of room to run. Toward the end zone and in. Sean Tucker puts some punctuation on this one. .29 yards, takes it over 100 yards for the game. 17th time in his career, and Tucker trots to the end zone. Wait a minute, get back out there. That was Max Mang, who gets sent right back out by Robert and I after Tucker took it to the end zone. That is now 4 straight possessions and touchdowns for the Orange.
Well, you think he's trying to run out the clock. He's trying to run it to the back bay. Back of the end zone. Anyway, high stepping across that goal line, and another 100-yard rushing week. Told you last year in this game, Sean Tucker had 207 yards on the ground. Coming off of that 16-carry, 106-yard performance. 2 touchdowns against Wake. He gets 2 touchdowns today and goes 125. You mentioned it, 17 career 100-plus yard rushing games. Sean Tucker.
He will be pleased with this performance. 5th time this season Tucker's gone for over 100 yards on the ground. Remember, he only needed 21 yards for 1,000 this season. Took care of that relatively early. And now he runs it in from 29 yards away for the touchdown for Sean Tucker. It's just a 2-play drive for Syracuse to get it to the end zone. 10th rushing touchdown of the season for Sean Tucker. Points straight for the Orange. And Tucker with 2 fourth-quarter rushing TDs. James, that ups his total to 11 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Favors of the Orange trying to make sure they finish it off where they started this season, winning 6 in a row. Zay Flowers, shot of him getting set. His last home game, last college football game. Moorhead, the way he's carrying that left shoulder, a bit gingerly. He took quite a pop. He coughed up that fumble last time out. One of the many seniors recognized here at the beginning of the game tonight on senior night. And you know, Tom, as they came out and they announced everybody's major, many of them getting their masters, and they came across the field and hugged Coach Hafley and got some flowers. It really hit me again, the loss that everybody's going through back in Charlottesville. Just such bright futures, all of these student athletes, and futures that those three young men won't have. And just continue to pray for everybody over there with that UVA program. As Deshaun Perry's funeral was today, and Robert and I recruited all three of those young men, Lavelle and Devin as well. Jason Beck was on that staff. You mentioned off the top of the show how they honored them last week wearing their Virginia coats. It just really hit you hard when you look at all these bright young men that were around every single week, and they've got so much ahead of them.
Phil Dracovic also honored prior to the game. This is a 4th straight game that he's missed. Dracovic with the right knee injury at UConn. So Moorhead had to come on for Dracovic. Final game of the season for Boston College. Syracuse will be off to a bowl game. First time since 2018 when they won the Camping World Bowl against West Virginia 34-18 in Orlando, Florida. So these longtime rivals gave us a show one more time in the 56th edition. And now exactly 1 minute to play. Moorhead got it away. Spinning broom. Broom again, near first down yardage.
Wax cut under that one. He thought maybe he had an interception, but able to force it in there to Broom.
James, amazingly, with just under 13 minutes to go, BC took a 17-6 lead. Who could have predicted 26 straight points from the Orange?
Broom a couple times on this drive has gotten run over his skis. Running hard. He's gassed a little bit right here, staying in there. His time's a wasting.
Certainly no quit in the Eagles. But with 18 seconds left, Moorhead slightly shaken up.
Boy, he's taking some shots. Shot after shot here tonight. It'll be plenty of time to recover, unfortunately for the Eagles, because they will not go to a bowl this year. But see if they can make a miracle happen right here at the end of this game.
Moorhead to Flowers. Put the head down to the 2-yard line. So now 10 seconds left.
Well, you know, we started this show in our open, Tom. We talked about the ACC, and you never know what you're going to get each and every week, except for the fact that you were going to get two teams battling it out in a pretty entertaining show. And that's exactly the way we're finishing off here tonight. Dino Babers showing some emotion, getting in the ear of his defenders, making sure they don't punch this one in the end zone. But impressed with the way that Boston College, coming off of a 44-0 drubbing at the hands of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. To come with the fire that they did tonight, and it looks like he's having some trouble with his eyes or his head or something. And then Syracuse to take some hits early, but to continue to fight.
They get it to Flowers on 1st and goal, and he takes it into the end zone for the BC touchdown. So Zay Flowers has his 2nd receiving TD of the game. But what that does is give him now 29 career TD receptions, and that is the BC all-time record, as he passes Kelvin Martin on that list.
Jeff Hafley giving him a big hug. John McNulty, his offensive coordinator. We've mentioned so many times here tonight, they think the world of that young man.
James, it's also his 200th career reception. He'd already set that school record. So he leaves with the receiving touchdown record, receptions, career yards, over 3,000, and TDs in a season. He's now up to 12. So he has rewritten the Boston College record books. Well, flag came out. Syracuse was in the face of the kicker.
Well, this is important right here. If they're to...
Offside, defense number 24. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. It's still the try down. Yeah,
I use this one now as your 2-point. If they're going to give you half the distance, there's another look at that. But if you're going to take it a step up, that's what they'll do. They'll send this, they continue to push after, but they're going to send this offense back in there because you're going to need it either right now, or if you get an onside kick and throw one into the end zone, crazier things have happened, but you're going to need 2 points at some point. And here you go.
.32-23, 7 seconds on the game clock. Could be another half the distance.
Offside with contact. Defense number 97. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal. It's still the try down.
Jeff Hafley got his coaching start down the road in Worcester, Mass at WPI. Doesn't want this one to end. It's Flowers, motion man. Moorhead appeared to drop it off to Trapillo. I don't know if that was the exact design they were looking for, James. Well, 7 seconds left.
I think if a big offensive lineman comes up with it at the end of it, I think probably. But you know what? Look who it is, Sparrow. Sparrow had to step in and start in this game for this defense with all the injuries, and he's not fooled. Excellent job. He grew up in a big way and made some big-time plays. There's another look at Flowers in that 2nd touchdown of the game and the record breaker. But it'll be a losing effort, unfortunately, for Eagle fans.
They love number 4, though. And why wouldn't you? Exemplary of Eagle football. Nothing but incredible things to say about number 4. And he will be remembered for a long time to come here in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. .200 career receptions, 3,056 career yards, 29 receiving TDs, all BC records.
He went to see if he could get that ball. They said we've already seen it up.
Attempted onside kick, fielded by the Orange. That should cement things. Gadsden on the hands team. And so the Orange, who were staring at a 17-6 deficit early in this quarter, From that point forward, they represented. "26 straight points prior to that Flowers catch for the touchdown, his second of the game. And so BC will finish its season at 3-9, 2-6 in conference play on the final snap. And the Orange improved to 7-5, 4-4 in the ACC, and they are on to bowl season with the 32-23 win.
They're fighting again over
There's a little skirmish going on. There's a Syracuse flag in the middle of it, and we just need to defuse this right away. It was